Next News, breaking news.
3 Americans are dead tonight because a monster with a documented pattern of violence was handed citizenship instead of a deportation order. A DHS employee among the victims, Secretary Mullen, our new DHS secretary, just dropped the bombshell that nobody in the mainstream media wants to touch. This killer escalated his crimes every single April like clockwork. Law enforcement saw it, they documented it, and instead of protecting Americans, the system rewarded him. And now the Trump administration is connecting the dots that expose exactly how broken immigration enforcement became. But here's what's really making Democrats sweat tonight. You see, this is not some abstract policy debate that's happening in Washington. This is life and death in your community. 3 families destroyed. A DHS employee who served this nation gunned down. And for what? Because bureaucrats decided a known criminal deserved a pathway to citizenship over your family's safety. Now think about that for just a moment. Every April, this individual escalated. Every single April. It's not a mystery. That's a pattern that is screaming for intervention. Your neighborhood, your church, your kid's school could have been a ticking time bomb walking through it right now because soft politicians value political correctness over public safety. Vice President Vance, he just revealed something that should make every American furious. Millions of people flooded into this country on fraudulent asylum claims. Millions. They exploited our compassion and made a mockery of legal immigration. Now, the Trump administration has slashed those false claims by over 95%. H-1B visa abuse crushed by 90%. That's what real leadership looks like. But the judges and the politicians who enabled this carnage, they're still sitting on the bench, still in office, and still putting your family at risk. And speaking of real leadership that's protecting American interests, you need to hear this breaking development from the White House. They just announced over $30 billion to secure America's critical mineral supply chains and named a specific Alaskan project as a key strategic asset for U.S. mineral independence. I've personally been to the Vizsla copper drilling site in Canada myself. I've seen it with my own eyes. And what's happening right now in Alaska is bigger than most people realize. Now, President Trump just unveiled Project Vault. It's a $12 billion strategic minerals reserve designed to stockpile essential resources and keep America secure. When our government identifies strategic assets by name, smart investors pay very close attention. Now, Vizsla Copper is trading in the U.S. under VCUFF and in Canada as VCU.V. It's on your screen. Write it down. And check the exclusive briefing. It's only for Next News viewers. It's linked below to understand why this Alaskan copper project just landed on the national security radar. This is about American independence from foreign mineral dependence. We thank Vizsla for supporting this show. Now let's get back to the immigration crisis that's costing American lives. And here's what nobody else is willing to tell you. Vice President Vance just took on the Catholic clergy who've been attacking Trump's immigration enforcement. His response was devastating. How exactly is it humane to let drug traffickers and sex traffickers bring little kids across the southern border? See, that's the question the critics can't answer. Meanwhile, our new DHS Secretary Mullen is firing back at the California Democrats, complaining about ICE raids. His message? Congress wrote these laws. ICE enforces them. If Democrats don't like it, they can change it, but they won't because they know the American people are on Trump's side. So take a look here. This is our new Secretary of DHS.
ICE is enforcing the laws that Congress passed. That means that the Democrats that represent California in the federal government, if they wanted to change ICE's authority, they could do it. ICE simply enforces the nation's immigration policies and deports individuals and goes after the criminals that should never be in this country to begin with. We're not doing anything outside the law. We're working well within the law, and they're doing the job every single day and protecting even people like himself that want to decriminalize criminals. Doesn't make any sense to me.
Doesn't make any sense to anyone. Despite the DHS assertion of operating within the law, a chilling revelation surfaces. The Biden administration granted citizenship to a man with a clear pattern ignored by those in power. Here's more from the new DHS secretary.
Unfortunately, he also killed one of DHS's employees. And we found out about it immediately. We wanted to make sure it wasn't a targeted event. Doesn't feel like it was a targeted event. But this individual not just had a pattern of criminal activity, but his pattern was every April. Every April, he had escalated his criminal activity, and the Biden administration knew this. The law enforcement knew this, and they decided not to just deport him, but they allowed him to become a citizen, and then he escalated it to the point he did now. So the question is why April? There must have been something in his life that was triggering April that he was acting out, but there was a direct pattern to it, and it led to the death of 3 innocent individuals when we saw that his crime every April had increased over several years.
These individuals never should have been allowed in the country.
They should have never been here to begin with, for sure, but this is what we're dealing with.
These are economic migrants.
Yes.
Many of them, whether they come legally, these are economically moving in here. They're not fleeing persecution. They're not fleeing, any type of covered persecution to, qualify as asylees.
They take advantage of the United States' generosity.
Yeah, the generosity, our goodwill. On Monday, DHS employee Lauren Bullis and 2 other victims were brutally shot and stabbed to death by Alokitan Adan Abel, who was naturalized by the Biden administration. Adan Abel's criminal record includes convictions for sexual battery against a police officer, and more. Unbelievable. With the Biden administration's failures laid bare, let's pivot to explore how the previous administration tackled immigration head-on. Let's go to the vice president.
One of the first pieces of legislation I sponsored in the United States Senate was effectively to get rid of the H-1B visa, because I cared so much about this when I was in the Senate. And yes, it is the case that Congress has not exactly come along. There, again, to my point about the United States Senate, there are far more people who are sponsoring that legislation today than there were 10 years ago, but it's not nearly enough to get it through. But just through administrative action, I don't think people realize this. The number of new H-1B visas is down about 90% in the United States of America. Like that's something that we accomplished purely through. That's something we accomplished purely through administrative action. And again, it's something I cared a lot about. It's something the president cared a lot about. So, there are other things too. There are ways in which, our visa system is taken completely advantage of. One of the biggest loopholes in American immigration, legal immigration policy, and I'll never forget my debate against Tim Walz, where the moderator tried to fact check me because I said this person is an illegal immigrant. It's like, no, actually, they came in as an asylum claimant. And it's like, if you came in on a fraudulent asylum claim, you are an illegal immigrant, whatever the hell somebody from CBS says that you are. And the asylum process was, there were literally millions of people coming into the United States every single year on false asylum claims. We have those claims down something like north of 95%. So there are all of these things that you can do, purely through administrative action. But for us to really make this stick, look, as much as I don't want this to happen, eventually, hopefully 20 years from now, you're going to have a Democratic president who tries to undo everything that we've done on immigration. That's why we need Congress to codify this stuff. But right now, I'm very proud of what we've done in the Trump administration. Massive reductions in fraudulent visas, massive reductions in fraudulent number of asylum claims, massive reduction in H-1B visas granted. We're making a lot of progress. As I said to you, we want to make more. We're certainly going to make more over the remaining 3 years. But what that means, fundamentally, is you guys deserve to have good jobs. And I don't want, when you graduate from this amazing university, and it hurts me to say that as an Ohio State fan, but this is an amazing university. When you graduate, I think the guy who was screaming earlier, he's clearly a Michigan guy. Just put it on the.
Well, let's just continue here, because the Trump administration prided itself on tightening border security, including unexpected voices, and now questioning its morality. Here's the vice president talking about the Catholic clergy.
the most obvious example is it has frustrated me that some of the Catholic clergy have attacked mercilessly the Trump administration on immigration. It is a constant idea that somehow everything that the Trump administration does when it comes to securing our borders is inhumane. And my constant response to that is, how is it humane to allow drug traffickers and sex traffickers to bring little kids across the southern border?
Amen.
How is that humane?
Yeah. And that's exactly what they're stopping. Criticism of immigration handling extends beyond the clergy to our judiciary. We'll address the call to impeach judges who are seen now as complicit in endangering Americans. Here's Representative Brandon Gill. It's time to start impeaching judges that allow criminals back on the streets.
To Democrats, Sheridan Gorman, the Americans who are slaughtered by these barbarians that they brought into the country are nothing more than collateral damage in a political game that they're playing. But we ought to start impeaching some of these judges who are acting contrary to any sense of reasonable justice, and because the American people are sick of it.
Yeah, we are sick of it. The laws are on the books. Just follow them. I'm going to tell you what this really comes down to. You see, the Trump administration inherited a system that was designed to fail. A system where criminals got citizenship while law enforcement watched helplessly. A system where millions gamed asylum to cut in line of legal immigrants. A system where judges release dangerous offenders back onto our streets. President Trump and Vice President Vance are dismantling that corrupt machine piece by piece. False asylum claims down 95%. Visa abuse crush. ICE finally empowered to do their job. And now there's a growing call to hold activist judges accountable through impeachment. This establishment's freaking out because they are being exposed. Every policy failure, every preventable death, it all leads back to politicians who chose ideology over your safety. So 3 Americans are gone because the system failed them. But the Trump administration is not just mourning the losses, they're fixing the broken machine that caused them. 95% reduction in false asylum claims, 90% drop in H-1B visa abuse. ICE operating within the law and getting results. This is what America First looks like in action. Now, I want to hear from you. Should Congress start impeaching judges who release dangerous criminals back onto our streets? Drop a yes or no in the comments and tell me why. And since you're still here, you watched this entire video, congratulations. I built this system just for you. It's the Insider Text Message Alert System. Text raw feed to 844-840-4963. Hundreds of patriots are signing up. So you need to be one of them. We'll send you the notifications directly to your phone as a text message. When YouTube fails you in notifications and the algorithm buries our reports, and they do, my message will get to you, unbroken and uncensored. Now share this video with every patriot who needs to understand what's happening with immigration enforcement. And if you want to support independent journalism that tells you the truth the mainstream media buries, check out the Next News merch shelf below this video. Make sure you subscribe and you hit the notification bell because this fight for America's safety is only getting started. I'm Gary Franchi for the Next News Network. Stay informed and stay free.
The system controls information. Information control is power. They don't want you to see this. The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.